Hello, may I speak to John, please?
Yeah, this is John.
Hi, John. My name is Glenn Tremain, and I work with Sam Khalil.
Yeah, Glenn. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm holding up. How are you doing?
Same, holding up. Uh, so I just wanted to, do you have time for me to talk about? Uh,
I do.
okay,
I
great.
do. I have the letter right in front of me.
Yeah, I read it. I read it when he sent it, and I read it again this morning. So, boy, that's a glow. That's a glowing letter. It's really great.
He did a great job for us.
Yeah, I mean, in
And
the last 4 years, he's continually, come through, hasn't he?
he has indeed. 5 transactions, over millions of dollars. He's never let us down. That's what I ended it with. And that's the truth.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, I went through it, and I was just wondering if we could, capture our call, and that so that I can use the audio to put in some video that we're going to be making soon. Is that okay?
Uh, so you want to record some of this or what?
Yeah, we're not gonna have your name. We're just gonna have you talk about your experience with Sam and why you have used him for so long.
Yeah, we can do that. It's not the best day. I'm in the middle of doing my income taxes, and my brain is a little bit fried. So, but we can
Okay.
try it.
Yeah.
We
Sure.
can try it.
Yeah. Okay. Or we can do it another day. The other thing that I'm calling for is to see if you could leave a review on Facebook and on Google My Business. Do you have
Well, I don't use those.
So
I'm
you
sorry
don't
to
use
say.
Facebook and you don't use Google.
I do not. You got to remember, Glenn, I'm an old guy, and I just no, I just don't use them, and I have really no desire to use them. I could possibly set up an account, but right now, frankly,
Yeah,
I do.
yeah. Why do that?
I, well, I just don't have the time to do it. I would do it for Sam if I had the time, but
Right.
uh, it's I'm under a lot of pressure right now, and
Sure. Well,
so
let's
we we
talk.
can we can we can try the verbal right now, the audio, and
Sure.
if it turns out well, we can use it. If you'd prefer to if you prefer to try it again at a later time, we can do that too. Now, in this audio, are you going to ask me questions, or am I going to just do a little dialogue?
Well, whatever you feel most comfortable. If you feel like, even if you just feel like reading the letter, that's fine. You know.
Well, let's try you asking questions, because that will focus on what you want to hear rather than what my fuzzy brain is going to come up with at this point.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I will say, the letter itself is pretty darn good. I mean, it covers a lot. It talks about the nuances that really bring out why people should use Sam. The fact that he helped you with your expectations in selling and in buying, and then the fact that he used a combination of elements to in each scenario, or selling, buying, and then renting. He used it all. He was really doing a lot, right?
He was a perfect agent for us. That's the word for it. He really was, based on, based on the issues of really how do we get people to be motivated. He was really, really, and is an expert at that. Charm has a lot to do with how we view each other and how we respond to each other. But charm is only one aspect of the situation. Behind that charm has to be knowledge and skill. And that's why Sam is so rare. He has both charm, but it's backed up by very, very solid knowledge and skill.
Yeah, the confidence. He gives when you talk to him, you feel that he's very, very confident, not in a bad way, but in a good way, that you feel safe, right? No?
That's true. Confidence is a very important part of helping to motivate people.
Yeah, and in your letter, it talks about, the properties that you were going after, uh, the way they were marketed, they had a lot of offers, and yet Sam got yours accepted, right?
Well, that's the crux of the matter. In all of the cases that we're talking about here, we were in a very, very much of a competitive market. And as a result of that, there were multiple bids, especially on the last one we bought. I think I indicated that the realtor who held the prime contract had put a full page color ad in the Mercury News, and we went around that day just to check, and there were dozens, if not hundreds, of people going through that house. So at the end, there was at least 9 very, very competitive bids, and Sam worked very hard in conjunction with the realtor who was listed to find a way to get us to win that bid. And that was actually a very, very impressive and amazing piece of work that he did.
Wow. So, and then basically, you also talk about his resourcefulness, right? You
Oh,
know,
definitely. Yeah, and that's the backup to the charm. I mean, one has to know what they're talking about, and in this world, which is extremely complex, one has to do their homework. And that homework then turns into resources to help you to make decisions and help you to realize successful outcomes.
right. Yeah. Okay. Well, so let's say that we were at a family gathering, and I was a friend of a friend, and I'm telling you, hey, I'm looking to, you know, uh, buy property in the area. What would be a few things that you would say?
About Sam?
Yes.
Well, pretty much what we've just covered. You want the experience to be as little painful as you possibly can. And when you buy a house, for most of us, it's one of our major investments in our lives. Because of that, there's a lot of anxiety surrounding it. And so how do you come to make a decision in regards to where to go, which house to buy, how much you're willing to spend, how to get a mortgage, how much you're willing to go out on a limb with that mortgage? And so most people do not have the experience to be able to handle those situations and objectives by themselves. They need someone who's done it dozens, hundreds, maybe even 1,000 times. And this man, Sam Khalil, has done it 1,000 times. And not only has he done it with tremendous success for his customers and for everyone involved in the process, because the process is multi-professional. There are mortgage officers, there are basically a whole group of people who come together to make this project work. So his skill in coordinating between those various different professions is very important, because you've got a clock that's ticking, and the smoother those interactions can occur, the more likely you are to be able to get your bid into the position that needs to be in the time allotted. So these are all the elements which are somewhat general in nature but result in specifically positive results. And this is what this man brings to the table more than anyone that I've dealt with in the past. I think that one of the most important parts of that is to understand that his skill in helping you to realize what you have to do to have a winning bid is very important. Because as a consumer, as a buyer, we frequently go into a transaction or into a hope to purchase with some very unrealistic expectations. If those unrealistic expectations prevail, then you're not going to get the bid. And his job, and what he does so extremely well, is to bring your expectations into line with what is needed to win the bid. If you're selling, it's the opposite. He's got to get you to the point where you have your pricing at the point where it's going to sell the property.
And that's when I read your letter, he did, he got you the price that you wanted, and that's great.
He did get the price we wanted, and that is great. We tried to be realistic. Frankly, we tried to be realistic in our pricing, but nevertheless, when you get what you want, that means you should be very, very happy.
Yeah, and the other thing I feel from getting to know Sam is the fact that he's got all the years of experience, but also he's experienced in the mortgage side as well. So he has real estate experience, mortgage experience. So he's never caught off guard with all the whatever comes. He's probably dealt with it before, and that gives the confidence to his clients that he's gonna make them he's gonna make things good, and they're gonna be okay.
And that is a very important point, because in our last transaction, we were going for a mortgage of $1 million. And his experience in the field of mortgage brokering gave him the foundation and the background to deal with our mortgage officer at the bank that we were working with, so that the two of them working together really enabled us to get a very, very good mortgage. And when you sign up for a 20 or 30-year mortgage, you want to get the best rate that you can possibly get. You want to get the best overall transaction that you can get. You can always refinance, but that is another ordeal at a later time. And if you start off with the right package, you may never have to do that. So his knowledge in the mortgage brokering field helped him as he spoke to our actual mortgage officer, and he did that on numerous occasions.
Great. So having Sam represent you with the real estate and mortgage and other things that popped up, it probably gave you a feeling of security that you didn't have to go everywhere, that you had someone that was going to watch out for you and understand the steps as you went through it.
There is truth to that. Basically, in our particular instance, we did not get the mortgage until the day before closing. Think about that. We had $66,000 as a deposit, but we didn't have a mortgage until the day before closing. And actually, although I have to say there were twinges of anxiety, overall, I just didn't lose it. So part of that came from the fact that we had confidence that the transaction was going to go through, and some of that confidence came from the fact that we knew that Sam was working behind the scenes to help us get that mortgage. So yes, it's actually very, very important to have confidence in your broker, because there are always hiccups along the way in a transaction like this.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, good. Well, that's a lot. I can use all the stuff that you said. We're gonna cut it up in pieces and put it in videos, and it's just gonna try and put people at ease, because these days everyone says they're great and everyone says this and that, but it's good when people hear Sam's clients saying, hey, this is what he did for us. And I personally, when I listen to Sam, I feel comfortable. And when he tells me about his experience for 30 years, he's done real estate and mortgages. That's a huge thing, because most people that do real estate, they've never had a successful mortgage career. So by knowing mortgages, you understand how to protect your client, and I think he does a really great job at it. So,
Well, that's absolutely true. The fact of the matter is the mortgage is a huge component in having a successful purchase or transaction. If you can't get a mortgage in today's market in the peninsula area, very, very few people have $1.5 million up to purchase the house that they would like to own.
right, or get the right terms. I mean, you can get financing, but it may not have been the best terms. Either more cash, or the rate's not good, or the cost isn't good. So Sam can look at it and make sure that you're getting the best deal overall. Price and financing, having the best deal overall is the best deal, right?
And actually, he did that for us, that very thing, because we had gone into the mortgage company at a certain mortgage level. And he said to us, John, Carolyn, you can actually get a higher mortgage because of your strong financial position, personal financial position. And so we did do that. Even after we were approved at a certain level, we went back to the mortgage officer and said it would be advantageous to us to get a higher, more from the mortgage company, more from the bank.
Right.
And we did do that, and we would have never done that without Sam saying, you really could get a higher amount from the bank.
That's awesome. Yeah. So he's not just looking out for the transaction; he's looking out for you.
That really is one of his strongest to remove his vested interest in getting a commission and looking for your interest really, really solely. Now, this is what he did for us. I'm speaking for my wife and myself in this respect, but Sam really, really looks to your interest first.
Right. Well, you can tell just by talking to him. You can tell. The way he talks and the way he treats you. You can tell that's the way he is.
That's true. He is very, very, very able to express himself and to build confidence through his knowledge. But again, that has to be backed up, and it was.
Yeah, yeah. He talked the talk, but he walked the walk.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's great. And so, when was the last transaction that you guys did?
The last one was closed on March 23rd of this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like we said before, we have done 5 transactions with Sam now. So this isn't just based on one good day. This is based. It's based on 5 transactions, each one having 20 or 30 good days.
Yeah, that's awesome. So have you? So the last transaction, was that a sale or buying a property?
The last transaction was actually 3 different transactions. First of all, we sold a property. Second of all, we purchased a property. And third of all, we rented the purchased property. Now, each of those was separate transactions, but all of them were interrelated, and it was very important how that interrelation was resolved, because we did a 1031 exchange on the sale,
Oh,
which meant that
wow.
we had a limited amount of time to purchase the next property, and all of the timing had to be properly coordinated, or you have a disaster at closing. So,
Right.
yes, that was a very, very, as far as residential purchases by people like husbands and wives, that was about as complex as it gets. Everything had to go like clockwork, and Sam and Carolyn and I worked together on that. But I can tell you that Sam was standing right there saying, "John, get this done. John, what are you waiting for?" And those little hints that it was time to really get up and get things done, I think they're important to everybody, because we may not know exactly how long it takes to perform a certain portion of a transaction. We may think, well, we can get that done in 2 days when it takes 2 weeks. Sam's experience says, get this done now, because you don't know how long it's going to take.
Right. And so, can I ask, did you, as far as any transactions, did you use the 3D virtual tour technology?
We did. That was used primarily as a rental tool after we had purchased the house. Sam is very interested in the technology and in the output of that technology to rent and sell homes. And he did a really, really wonderful presentation that got us quite a bit of traffic in regards to that rental. And I will give you a quote from my daughter, who is very, very good at these things herself. She's very artistic, and she's also very, very knowledgeable about real estate. She said it was the best rental presentation she had ever seen.
Wow. Well, the reason why I ask is that he is really into the virtual real estate marketing, which the 3D tour provides. And so, since the COVID, he's developed the next level of marketing, which is including the Matterport 3D, and then now does these virtual connections where he connects buyers and sellers virtually first, like through doing Zooms and walking people through the property and being there in ways that real estate agents hadn't had to do. And now, because of his technology, influence, he's using the Matterport, and he's using ways on the internet to attract clients. So the next time, like if you were to sell a property, you'd be as impressed as you were with how he handled the rental, with doing your a sale like that, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I think that the point is that this is a little bit of a competitive edge that Sam may have over other individual realtors. I'm sure that big companies have the ability to produce visual and virtual tours. I mean, that's becoming going to become a standard. But Sam has a very big interest in this. So now you have someone who is interested in your best interest, working with you almost on a daily basis, who has the interest in the technology and therefore the skill in the technology to produce the product that you are going to air. In a big company, someone doing that may not know you, have ever met you. There's no relationship connection. And so Sam has the edge of that relationship connection, and he uses technology to augment that.
Right. Well, I will say from looking at his work, he is a craftsman in the Matterport models and also in how to market those, because big companies may hire someone or do them themselves and it comes out okay, but it's being able to market them so that the seller gets more buyers than they normally would. So I'd say like your rental, you sort of made the impression that you got more people with the rental because of his presentation, right?
We did. We also got a very favorable rental rate. A lot of work was put in on the house to make it very marketable. But sometimes work doesn't get rewarded. Usually it does,
Sure.
but sometimes it does not. And so that was really gratifying that these visual presentations could really showcase all the work that was put in on this house, and that in turn resulted in a bigger number of possible clients, and also in getting exactly what we asked for the property.
Wow, that's awesome. So the extensive experience in real estate and in mortgage and also in the virtual real estate marketing makes Sam really a great, a great person to know. And if someone's looking to buy or sell, and even the complex sales. Like you just said, a 1031 exchange, a lot of people don't know. That's complex. So, the fact that he came through for you and was there for you and guided you through it, the technology, the real estate, the mortgage, and then, of course, the fact that he put your needs above his commission. That's really a big thing, all the things that he did in those 5 transactions.
Absolutely. I think, especially for first-time buyers, but really for all buyers, today's real estate transactions are much, much more complex than they were 20 or 30 years ago. And Sam really has, through a long period of experience and applying his skills, learned how to really manage those complex transactions. And that results in really better outcomes for people like Carolyn and myself.
Great. Great. Well, thank you for your time today. I have a ton of great things I can use, so Sam's going to be very happy. And then the only thing that I'll let Sam know is that for the Google and for the Google review, what we may do is email you to get your permission to put the review up on your behalf. So you don't need to have a Gmail account. We would just put the review up. It would be your review, but it would be under another Gmail account. But I'll ask him and see what he thinks.
That's fine. I would also, at some point, like to get together with Sam and just take a look and listen to what you're going to put up.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
So what we do is I'm going to edit out anything that should be edited out, and then it'd be a long file that's 20, 30 minutes long, but then we're going to be, so that's what we're going to use. And then what we do is we take snippets. So we'll talk about the 1031. We'll talk about, buying and selling, and then we'll talk about his technology. We'll take him into pieces, and we just take segments and put it into a video, because you can't have it really. We can't have a 30-minute thing, because
not in this day and age.
yeah, that's right. That's
People
right.
want 1 minute bites.
Yeah, that's true. So, and that's really what we're gonna do. But it'll give us a lot to go with, and then I'll clean this up. By tomorrow, but probably like tomorrow night, I'll send it to you, and then you can see what's up, and then that's it. We'll be good to go.
Okay, Glenn, tell me your last name again.
My name is Glenn, Glenn. Last name is Tremain, Tremain.
Okay. All right, Glenn, thank you for calling. I'm really very happy to work towards helping Sam. He did so much for us. And, in many regards, the realtor-client is somewhat of a one-way street, in that he's working for you, and, yes, you do reimburse him by paying a commission, but sometimes that commission, that money, is not enough. And so I'm really glad to when someone like Sam puts himself out the way he does, for every client, I'm sure. I mean, we never did business with him before the first transaction. You want to do something a little beyond monetary recompense.
Yeah, that's true.
And listen, you take care, Glenn, and it's nice talking to you.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.